My work simply depicted a situation when evil prevailed. My installation in South Africa performed a dual role for me. On a personal level, it was an extremely important catharsis. It was a simple outpouring, an externalizing and analysis of my lifetime's experiences. However, secondly, I felt an inner need that I needed to actually do something, to contribute. When I traced the origins of that particular large series of works, it all boiled down to a particular photograph that I'd taken. I had taken the opportunity just before leaving South Africa to go along to a political meeting being held by the leader of the Afrikaans Weerstandsbeweging, Mr. Eugene Terblanche. And this was being held in my town hall. And what happened was my town hall was transformed from a place where, as a kid, I'd been taken to see all sorts of fantastic shows, etc. It was turned into a Nazi political meeting with all the trappings of the flags, etc. And I went along as a press photographer, and I took a fantastic photograph of Eugene Terblanche actually doing a Hitler salute with the flags actually behind him. And in the event, as the series of works evolved, I realized more and more that this was actually the central core of what I was going to make my statement about. I was going to recreate a meeting hall within which this type of action would actually take place. It's pronounced Meneer die Ware Jacob, and loosely translated means this is the genuine article. This man is the genuine article. That was clearly the intention, was to actually make an image of somebody who was an absolute extreme. He exemplified the society, and of course it was a male-dominated, fascistic, extreme right-wing organization. And even though he is a character, a composite character made up of an amalgamation of a number of people that I'd known, in a sense, his visage is rather ugly and blunt, very confronting, nasty. And clearly that was the whole intent of the actual developed image. Originally I made the painting. Thereafter, when the whole concept of this installation recreating the meeting took place, I realized that the painted needed to be it needed to somehow be formally housed in something that would give the effect of becoming a religious or quasi-religious iconic form. The actual parts of the work were carefully chosen. I felt that it needed to be very formal in a classical sense, so I chose to make it out of very good timber, American oak. And I also included other parts that I felt were very important, and that was, there were 2 panels of real zebra skin. Directly in the center above the image, I housed a small, I created a small housing in which I placed a rubber bullet. Now that rubber bullet has special significance for me personally, because during a public demonstration it narrowly missed my head when it was fired by a policeman. So incorporating that into the form became more and more important, those types of real objects, the incorporation of them. Clearly apartheid South Africa was an absolutely abhorrent and appalling system. I was born in it. It was already 6 years old when I was born. I lived there for 33 years under apartheid. I came to understand what it meant to actually be oppressed from the point of view of watching how others were oppressed, and in a very, very subtle way being personally oppressed myself. White people, although being very advantaged, were obviously living in an absolute fantasy world. Oppression existed across the board. Looking historically, art tends to play a fairly small role in the actual political manifestation of policies, etc. Certainly one gets to individuals, there's no question of it. I've had individuals approach me many years after my show saying that they've actually had seen the documentary made around it and had in fact responded to it and had actually moved them at the time. But in reality, art doesn't really change things.